So, hey you guys, and welcome back to my channel for another video. Today we are talking about the books that I read in October and the books I want to read in November. If you don't know, November is NaNoWriMo, which means that it's National Novel Writing Month, so I really don't have a ton of actual books on my TBR, simply because I am doing NaNoWriMo. You can see more about that in the little cue card up above, or maybe it's over there. I think it's over there. Maybe it's over there. I don't know, but there will be a link to that video and my NaNoWriMo playlist once that's completed. But for today, we are talking about the books that I read in October and what I plan to read in November. So let's start off with the books that I read in October. So the first book that I read was The Epidemic by Suzanne Young. This is the fourth book in the program series. I wanted to read all 5 books that were out, but unfortunately I decided to stop after this book. I just wanted a break. I was so tired after reading 4 of them in a row. I just couldn't read another one, and since I think it's The Conjuring is coming out next year, I decided to wait to read The Adjustment because this series kind of goes in sets of 2. So the first 2 books were about Sloane and James. The second 2 books were about Quinn and Deacon, and I don't know what the characters in the last 2 books, but I decided just to leave that for when the second book comes out so that I can just read those 2 and just kind of be done with the series, because after those 2 books I'm just kind of done with this series. I like the world, I enjoy the world, I liked these books. They got really long really quickly, especially when you do a major character and plot change in the middle. I just didn't quite like it. I didn't feel like The Epidemic and The Remedy had to be in the program series. I felt like they could definitely be in a series on their own, as the stories don't interact whatsoever. So I think that it would be okay if they were totally different series, but they were in the same series. But I did like this book. I thought it was entertaining, but I was just really done with it by the time I got to it, unfortunately. So the next book that I read was Down the Rabbit Hole by Holly Madison. I actually listened to this on Audible. I bought this a few years ago. This has been on my list of things to read since I was in college. I think my sophomore year of college, actually. So I bought the audiobook, never listened to it, so I decided to listen to it this month. I thought it was a really good book. I thought it was really interesting. It really gave me a cool look into that world, and I really enjoyed it. The other 2 books that I read this month were actually on my Kindle. I read Anxious in Love and Thriving with Social Anxiety. Those both were pretty good self-help books. I didn't really learn anything new from them, but I thought that they were very interesting reads. And then I also started a new manga in October. I started No Game, No Life. This is about a brother and sister who are really good gamers in our world, but get sent to another world where games is the basis of everything. To succeed in the world, you have to be good at games. So it's a really big difference for them, and it's really interesting. I really like it, but my internet connection isn't the best, and I'm reading it online, so it's just kind of taken me a little bit. So then the book that I'm currently reading is Scythe. I'm about halfway through it. I really hope that I can finish this in the next week before November actually starts, but I am currently reading this. I really like it so far. I am actually annotating this book, and I really like it. There will definitely be a book review for this in November, and I am so excited to share my thoughts on it with you, just because this is such an in-depth and interesting book. So if you've been around my channel or have been watching my second channel, which is Patchwork Journey, where I post vlogs and whatnot, you know that a few different hauls have come into play. The first one was the Half Price Books clearance sale. Unfortunately, the video that I took for that haul was corrupted and I lost it, and by then all the books were scattered around my house and I just haven't gotten around to filming it again. I'm not quite sure if you guys want to see that, but let me know down in the comments if you do. The second haul this month was from Book Outlet, which was posted on my channel, which will be linked below or up above or somewhere. So because of that, the haul for this month collectively is just kind of small. So I went to Half Price Books in St. Paul with a few friends because I was talking with a friend and we were talking about manga, and she was telling me about this really good Half Price Books in St. Paul that she absolutely loves, that they have a decent sized manga section. So when I went to the Half Price Books clearance sale, I managed to pick up the majority of these series. I picked up a lot of Dean Angel and a lot of Fruits Baskets, but unfortunately they were missing some. I know that Dean Angel, I still have a few to collect, but because they're $5 a piece, I don't really want to buy them all at once. So I got number 8 of Dean Angel. This was the only one that I was missing. Now I have through 9, I believe. It's either 9 or 10, I don't quite remember. This is a story about a boy who has a demon angel thief person inside of him, and the thief and that angel can take over and performs robberies. It's a family like tradition thing, and I think that it's a really cool series. It's one of the first ones that I read. It's really an easy read. It's an easy anime to watch. I really liked it, and there's some really cool art from it. The other 2 books that I got at that Half Price Books trip were numbers 8 and 2 of Fruits Basket. I got through number 10 at the Half Price Books clearance sale, but I couldn't find these there, so I was able to pick them up at this Half Price Books, and I'm happy to be able to say that I do have up through number 10 now. So it's a slow collection, but it's building, and this was one of the first animes that I watched on my own, and I absolutely loved it. I know that the manga is very, very different from the actual anime, but if you've never read it or you've never seen it, definitely go look it up. So then on to what I want to read in November. I do want to finish Scythe. I'm also currently listening to the audiobook of Fangirl, so I'd like to finish that as well. Other than that, I borrowed just a few manga from my friend. So the first manga series that I want to read in November is Full Moon. This has 7 volumes, so I'm really hoping to get through this pretty quickly. It's one that I have been wanting to read for a little bit, but just haven't gotten around to. I found out that my friend had it, so I borrowed the first one, and I will continue to read it on. The next one that I want to read is Ion, which is a standalone volume, so this will be really quick to get through, and I'm super excited to read this because this is another one that I've wanted to pick up since high school. Then I want to read The Gentleman's Alliance, which I have the first 4 volumes here. I believe it's out of 11? I have the first 4 volumes here, but it's out of 11 volumes, so I will be reading the rest of this online if it is available. Otherwise, I will be borrowing it from my local library. And the last series that I want to read is Special A. This is out of, I believe, 17 volumes. I don't think that I'll get through all of it. I think that I might just read this first one, unless it's available online, but hopefully I get through a good chunk of it. And then the only kind of book that I really want to read in the month of November is Red Queen. I'm actually getting this through an audiobook at my local library, so I am super excited to get that pretty soon. But yeah, so that's what I read in October, what I got in October, and what I plan to read in November. If you know me very well, you know that this TBR list is constantly changing and constantly being updated, so definitely watch my Bookstagram and Instagram account, Patchwork Paper, to be kept up to date on that and what I'm currently reading. I try to post every day, if not twice a day, on that platform. Also, feel free to check out my blog, Patchwork Paper, which will also be linked below. And I'm so excited because the day that I'm filming this, I started a Twitter for this show. It's called Patchwork Maine, and that will be linked down below. I am also starting a new vlog channel where I do weekend vlogging, and that is called Patchwork Journey, which will be linked down below, where you get to see some of my behind-the-scenes adventures. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Comment below if you have read or plan to read any of the same books as me. Like this video if you enjoy seeing these videos, and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!